Brief in Tafsir of the Holy Quran, page 45 of the Quran. And like those who spend their money in order to seek the sickness of God and to stabilize themselves as a paradise of prophecy hit by a barrage, and it came to eat twice as much, if it is not hit by a barrage of falsehood and God with what you are doing with sight. 265. I would like one of you to have a paradise of palms and grapes under which rivers run, from under which he has all the fruits and has grown old and has weak offspring and was hit by a hurricane with fire, so you burned. God also shows you the verses so that you may think. 266. O ye who have believed. Spend from the goodness of what you have earned and from what we have brought you out of the earth, and do not orphan the malignant from it. You spend, and you will not take it away except to close your eyes to it, and know that God is rich and benign. 267. Satan promises you poverty and commands you to obscenity, and God promises you forgiveness from him, and as well as God is wide and knowledgeable. 268. Wisdom comes from whomever he wants, and whoever brings wisdom has done much good, and only the ulu of the hearts is mentioned. 269. Two 65. Like the believers who give their money to seek God's approval, reassuring themselves of the sincerity of God's uncoerced promise, like an orchard on a good high place, hit by a heavy rain, which produced double fruit. If it was not hit by a heavy rain, it was hit by a light rain, and it was satisfied with it for the goodness of his land, as well as the plucks of the faithful accepted by God and doubled its wages, even if it was few, and God by what you do with foresight. The situation of the faithful and the hypocrites is not hidden from him, and he will reward each with what he deserves. Then Almighty gave an example by which he depicts the state of the spender of his money hypocrisy, and said, 66. Would any of you wish to have an orchard with palms and grapes in which fresh water flows, in which he has all kinds of good fruits, and his owner has become old and became an elder who cannot work and earn, and has weak young children who cannot work? So the orchard was hit by a strong wind, in which there was a strong fire, and the whole orchard burned. Which is the most urgent need for him because of his old age and the weakness of his descendants? The spender has his money as hypocrisy to people like this man. He responds to God on the day of judgment without good deeds, at a time when he needs them most. Such a statement shows you what is beneficial to you in this world and the hereafter, so that you may think about it. 67. O ye who have believed in Allah and followed his messenger, spend from the good halal money that you have earned, and spend what we have brought you out of the plant of the earth, and do not mean to the bad of it, and spend it. And if I give you what you have taken, unless you overlook it by coercion for its mediocrity, how can you please God what you do not please yourselves? Know that God is rich in your expenses, commendable in himself and in his deeds. When he commanded them to spend the good, he warned them against Satan's cunning and obsessions, and said, 268, Satan fears you of poverty, urges you to be stingy, invites you to commit sins, and God promises you great forgiveness for your sins, a vast livelihood, and God is of great credit, aware of the conditions of his servants. 269. Repayment in words and injuries in deeds comes from whomever he pleases from his servants, and whoever gives it has been given much good, and only those with perfect minds who are illuminated by his light and guided by his guidance remember and preach the signs of God. The benefits of the verses: believers in Allah the Almighty are truly confident in God's promise and rewards. They spend their money and give without fear, sorrow, or attention to Satan's obsessions such as intimidation with poverty and need. Sincerity is one of the greatest things that blesses and develops works. The greatest of people is the loss of those who see me by their work as people, because they have no reward for their work except to praise and praise them. 145.